Welcome back to KShot Press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eddie Law. Joining us today is the creative director and announcer for the Pro League Network, founder of Slap Fight Championship, as we get set for week one of PLN Summer Series Friday Night Fights. Ladies and gentlemen, JT Tilley hanging in the ride too, man. You
But
can do anything. You can do anything, huh? You take the thing on for a spin? Does it move?
yeah, I've taken this out a couple of times, man. It's the thing is, this is an 810 horse,
Hmm.
RTR 2025 Mustang. This is a little bit more car than what I need, but they told us when they gave it to us, they said you got to take it out and blow the cobwebs every once in a while. So about once a week we take it out. It's just is this car is so much, brother. It's hey Will,
Yeah.
show this man the car if you don't mind, real quick. This thing is unbelievable, man. This is almost $100,000. It's all outfitted.
Dang.
We're going to destroy this car here in about 31 hours.
Oh boy, yeah. The inside. Do you change anything in the car?
No, we basically just anything that comes loose,
Mhm.
the official takes it out of the car, and until it comes loose, it's fair game.
There you go. All right. So I've only seen
Ed,
clips.
scoot up here. Ed, scoot up here and talk to me, man. Thank you.
There you go. So I've only seen clips of some of these things like CarJitsu and everything. You guys slap fight, chest chop, ultimate tire wrestling, which honestly sounds awesome to me,
Yeah,
and coffin wars. I mean, does anyone ever come up to you and ask JT like, what were you thinking? Like, what did you even
man,
come up with this
it's
stuff?
every day. Since PLN's really taken off this last couple of years, it's every day of my life. I've been creating like extreme combat sports for maybe 20 years. I'm MMA coach, so I'm a silly dude. So my team has always just kind of been a bunch of silly people. So we've always just done this crazy stuff. And, it just during the pandemic, it just became marketable. And after slap fighting and then CarJitsu, my partners, we just decided let's just lean completely into this extreme combat sport
Mm.
thing. And so we have actually many more than you named. It's just, we have to decide each year, how many seasons will we have and what sports will we concentrate on. So this year, my partner Bill had this opportunity to do this 10-week series, and it gave us a chance to just kind of, it's kind of a nice, posture for us to have all these different shows to put on so quickly.
Yeah, like I said, so quickly, and you have it set, almost like week by week. It's kind of cool.
Oh, it's crazy, Eddie. It's not only is it week by week, but it's
Hmm.
like what we've done is we have a roster of roughly 140 athletes,
Hmm.
and which seems like a lot, but for as many shows as we produce, sometimes it's difficult with the matchmaking, which I also do, and you got to be really careful and not sign too many people, so then you have athletes just sitting around and begging for competition, but you also have to be careful and have enough guys, and so. We always have guys in our, right now I think we're operating somewhere between 12 and 15 leagues. And the guys from each league are always contacting me and asking me, what do I have to do to compete in this thing or in that thing? So what we did was we randomly selected 42 athletes from our rosters combined. And well, not all of them. We didn't put in any mini golf or basketball guys or anything like that, but all the combat sports leagues. We picked 42 guys, and then we randomly split them into 6 teams of 7. And we have this process where this random program, it's called a randomizer. It selects who's going to compete at each show. And so these guys don't know until the week before the match if they're on the card and who they're matching. So, for example, there's a couple of guys on this card that were chosen by the randomizer to compete they've never even competed at CarJitsu. They're slap fighters. And so you got a couple of guys here that'll get in the car and battle each other. And for all intents and purposes, they could be great or they could have no idea what they're doing. And that is what's going to make Friday Night Fights hilarious and awesome.
Hmm.
We have great matchups. We have incredible matchups tomorrow night, but we also have some silly stuff that could be the best fights of the night.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's more, and WWE calls themselves sports entertainment. This to me is reading everything and looking into everything. It's like combat sports entertainment. It
That's
really
what
is.
we're going for. Yes, thank you.
It
Yeah,
really
well,
is way
the
different.
thing is we concentrate so much on crazy personalities, but
Hmm.
also there's always a fair match here. All of our grappling events. Our officials are very experienced black belts, and we've always got the commission here. We've always got the sanctioning body, and everything is really above board. But then when you include the best characters, they really sell well. Like for example, we have a guy we've got a guy with a huge afro. His name's Cameron Harris, but he goes by Black Larry. And he's like, show me your hair, Larry. You see his hair here?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah. And so Black Larry, come on up here, man. So Black Larry's probably the most popular guy at PLN right now because he's competed in almost every sport. Scoot your seat back, bro. I actually have most of the roster in this car. These things are really spacious, man. But Larry's competing tomorrow night, and he's facing a guy from the slap league named Firecracker. And so, this is what we do. We give our athletes an opportunity to not only stay super, super active, but also, Larry's under a scholarship, and he trains right here at PLN Studios in the back. There's a gym, and 5 nights a week, this guy works on all the skills necessary to become a well-rounded PLN athlete. And I think what you're going to see is, this week, obviously, it's CarJitsu, and the matches are crazy, like just extreme. And then next week, we've got a slapping competition, and the matchups are crazy in that one too, and we're going to announce those tomorrow night at the end of the broadcast. But this is something that no one's ever done before. Friday night fights every Friday night for 10 weeks, every week a different crazy sport, and every week randomly selected matchups. The only thing that's predetermined is the weight class. And these guys are all representing, like, what team are you on?
I'm Team Green.
Team Green. So there's Team Green, Team Pink, Team Gold, and all these different teams are competing with each other. And then there's a leaderboard at the end of the episode. And at the end of the season, we're going to select which of those 6 teams is the PLN top team.
There you go. It's a
and
on the line.
It's $5 million. We're a little, I don't want to commit to that. It may be far less, but that's the sentiment.
Damn, dude, that's you putting all the stops on this. Like, you really fully, truly believe this is gonna be the next big thing.
It's the next big thing, Eddie. I've been around a long time, and I had a career in mixed martial arts, 20 years, and I worked with LFA and Bellator, and I did the whole deal, And one day it just dawned on me that I could continue busting my ass for 12 weeks to produce a show that nobody's going to appreciate, and I'm going to lose sleep for weeks and weeks and weeks for maybe 20,000 people to see my show. Or I could do it in a private studio out in the middle of nowhere, and I can get 34 million views a week. When you realize that that's possible, and you see where you can forward your career like that, well, then you have a tendency to not be stuck in your own goldfish pond anymore. I met my partners who we now form PLN, but I met my partners, they're from New York City and Massachusetts, and we never knew each other, but we built a nice, strong bond, and we came up with a product that we thought was unique. And for the last several years, it's proven to be. And finally, after all of this work and all of this toil and investment and commitment, now we may be becoming an overnight success.
And you got plenty. I mean, the YouTube thing alone, you have a massive, massive platform right there to be able to use and everything. Marketing it correctly, you can get those 34 million views you're talking about.
Yeah. Right now, we've got a lot of broadcast partners, and the thing is that they move so quickly, and that's not the part of the business that I'm in charge of. So I don't want to list them now because I might be a little bit out of date, but we have so many broadcast partners around the world and around the country that, YouTube has kind of become our third or fourth option. It's just that our hardcore fans, we built a lot of these sports on YouTube. So a lot of them just prefer to watch there, but we'll be on, we play on Fight Network and Stadium, and, it's sort of a rotation for us. But you could walk into any place to get your tire changed anywhere in the U.S. and you might see some of our stuff, So, for us, the audience is there now. And the 35 million impressions a week is great for us. But those people aren't buying tickets. You know what I'm saying? Those people are watching us while they, in between tasks or, while they're in the tub, But what we're trying to turn the corner into right now is more concurrent viewers that tuned in specifically to watch live, and that's what's happening with Friday Night Fights. We've already seen the response, and we know that this 10-week event is probably something that we'll do in the future as well. It's just incredible. Chest Chop. We're going to announce the fights next week for the week following's Chest Chop. We've got Ultimate Tire Wrestling, which recently we've just announced that it's going to be on ESPN Ocho this year.
Okay.
Also Coffin Wars, which we did Coffin Wars last year with Kai Cenat, and we got just an incredible amount of response from it. So we've introduced it as one of the options for Friday Night Fights, and there's no telling who's going to end up in Coffin Wars, but also Coffin Wars later this year will premiere on ESPN Ocho. So things are going really well, but mostly we're just concentrating on having a good time. And we've learned what our fans like, and we're just trying to deliver it to them in a way that's safe for the athletes and fun for the audience, you know?
There you go. All right, so let's get to it. Just like I said, man, kicking off Friday, June 13th on PLN's YouTube channel. I believe as far as we understand, Stadium, Fast, and OTT channels among, those are just a few of your broadcast partners.
Yeah.
Yeah. The PLN Summer Series, dude.
1980 Cinemax. We're even on there.
Damn, you're everywhere, dude. PLN Summer Series, Friday night fights, 9 weeks of action, different sport every week with a random matchup, leading into a 2-hour Friday night fights championship finale on August 15th. What was the vision behind putting that Friday night fights together? You were like, wait, let's do something crazy. A summer series, Friday night fights, 10 weeks.
Well, I tell you what, man, we do a lot of crazy stuff. Anybody that's a fan of Pro League Network, last year we produced a freak show, and we recently did a double barrel show and a pick your own opponent show. So we're known to do some crazy things. This was an interesting kind of a stew. My partner Bill called. He said, "Hey man, what about this idea?" And he pitched it at me, and I thought, "Yeah, that's great." I said, "That's great." I said, "But what can we do to make it more interesting? Instead of just 10 cards." He said, "Well, what about just do 10 different sports 10 weeks in a row?" That sounds great, man. And then somewhere along the way, I don't remember who, but somebody thought of the idea to have this randomizer program to randomly select the competitors and give them teams. And for some reason, that just really resonated with the athletes, and the athletes, they love it. And Friday Night Fights just became kind of a PLN project that everyone just kind of kicked in on. But for the most part, I think what you're going to see here is the passion of the athletes that have been waiting for an opportunity to prove themselves in a new battleground. And some of them will fail miserably. You already know this, Eddie. You train. Some of these guys will will fail miserably, and some of them will rise to the occasion. And for me, that's what I'm excited about. And of course, I've got great co-hosts. I'm not the only commentator. I've got tomorrow night, I'm joined by Jason Mayhem Miller. And he's a blast. I've worked with him in the past. And then, of course, my partner and good friend and unofficial life partner, America's Princess, Mark Coleman. He'll be back next week for Slap Fight. And so, I'm really lucky to be surrounded by legends. And, of course, July 18th, we've got a big card that's kind of the centerpiece of this series. And we've got Tim the Maniac Sylvia. He's our super heavyweight Slap Fight champion. And he's going to have a title defense right in the middle of this run. So lots of surprises, lots of influencers. I think combined so far, the influencers that are going to be in-house and co-hosting with us, somewhere around 250 million followers and subscribers total. So we're going to make some noise and have some fun. And at the end of the day, I hope we get through the 10 weeks without any serious injuries or promoter bankruptcies.
Everything goes smooth. We're all happy, man. So when you go to an athlete, and like I said, training and everything, me and my teammates, we saw a clip of CarJitsu a while ago. And of course, one of us has a Prius, not me, one of my buddies has a Prius.
You
and
did
he
it.
was like, hell yeah, we did. Dude, we went in there and I was like, all right, what are the rules again? Like hand start here and everything. Dude, I grabbed that seatbelt so fast and wrapped it around my boy's neck as fast as I could. I'm like, am I doing this right? It was really wild. So when you go to an athlete and be like, hey, this is the game, like, do they ever look at you like, come on, man, come on, what are you doing? Or do they go, dude, let's go?
Eddie, listen, man, I was 20 years in MMA. So I have my whole circuit where I have all my friends and cohorts that are in mixed martial arts and fighting. And when we first started doing this, I would say 50% of them, because you go to the gym owners, the black belts, and I won't name any names, and you know who you are, and I know you're watching, but some of these guys, I would say, hey, I got this idea. We're going to do this thing. And they would be like, no, that's not jujitsu. That's not jujitsu. That's disrespectful. And, I've been training jujitsu for 18 years, man. I'm not gonna disrespect jujitsu, but I believed from the start that this was practical. This is practical for Uber drivers and cab drivers and delivery truck drivers. I mean, this is practical, but this is not jujitsu. This is CarJitsu. I've noticed it. I don't know what your rank is right now, your belt rank. You tell me.
Blue.
Okay. For example, you could very easily defeat a purple belt, a brown belt in the car because half of his skill set is restricted by the roof. And at blue, you're all arms and legs right now, right? So everything's fair game, right? Not to mention the fact that at some point it comes down to who gets the seatbelt and who's the most inventive. because in most cases it becomes a dogfight. So you should come down here and get in here, man, and see what it feels like, man. What are you about, actually, $185, $170?
Dude, you nailed it. 185 right now on the scale.
185.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You ought to come down here and get in here, man. It's a blast. The problem is, you know, the seatbelt doesn't just immediately cut off your air, man. You've been choked with a belt before?
Yeah.
It's the same size, right? So the seatbelt doesn't immediately cut off their air. So you can very easily get your fingers in and fight. But the problem is it's the feeling of being trapped. Like if I have a dude on me right now, like if Larry want to get over here, man. Like, cook my coffee, homie. I got it. So let's say Larry's big ass was on top of me, right?
Yeah.
Jump in here, man. And he's smashing me, right? First of all, this would never happen. But if it was, like, I'm so claustrophobic right now, just for the purposes of this, that I'm just going to get this tap real quick, man, so that I can get out, right? But this is the problem. The problem is right now, I could be a better grappler, but I'm just in a position where my hips can't move. This is a sports car, bro. My fat ass barely got in here to begin with, right? So now pressure me, bro, and choke me with that thing. So this is what happens, right? So now I just want to make space because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy and I need my knees. But now if you move your head, grab this dude's hair, man. So now, like, I just want to make space, right?
Yeah.
But I'm already done, right? Because he's going to end up taking this over here. Go ahead and get me, man. And now he's going to have one arm on the choke and then one just to smash me with, right? It's now, there's nothing I can do. Even if I hip out, even if I'm a better grappler, even if I'm infinitely better, this dude is on me. And the only way I can get out is to open the door and touch the mat on the outside, but only get one per round, right? So in a situation like this, the blue belt is king, Rand, because you're not limited at all.
No.
You know, the black belts, I mean, you know, look at this dude. You got hair everywhere, bro. The black belts, you know, they've got the skill set and they're usually inventive. And by the time you get to black belt, you know your shit, right? But blue belts, purple belts, they fall to white belts all the time in the car because they concentrate too much on jiu-jitsu.
Gotcha. So the car is a great equalizer in this.
It is, man. And we have noticed here at PLN, here at the studio, we're in the Ozark Mountains here, but here in the Ozark Mountains, right behind the wall, this is the staging room where we do all the competitions, but right behind that wall, there's a big mixed martial arts gym. And, you know, we just test things and practice, you know, new things and see what's safe and what's not. But what we have learned is that if you take a highly trained athlete, you take a good jiu-jitsu practitioner or a judoka or a wrestler, you know, we have everything here. And you introduce an obstacle, like a big stack of tires or a car or something, or a coffin. Suddenly it's, you know, the ranking of who's better on the mat suddenly isn't quite as easy to trust, because now you've got a tire to stuff a guy in, right?
Yeah. Or
you've got I don't want to give away all the new stuff we're working on, but it's a lot of stuff, man. Right now we're testing something. It's called RC BJJ. It's like remote control BJJ, right? Where the corner man is the star, right? And the guy on the mat is following orders, right? He's following the commands, right?
Yeah.
So we've just found ways to just kind of real world test your martial arts. And we have found that there's a fan base for that, man. Of course, we're also the company that does, you know, titty slapping and face slapping too. So, you know, we're not against doing crazy stuff, but that's kind of why we all like the idea of the Friday Night Fight series, is that what it gives us is an opportunity to take a guy that's watching CarJitsu because he loves jiu-jitsu and he wants to see some vehicular manslaughter, you know, but he might accidentally see some slapping in a commercial, or maybe one of the athletes that he's following decides to be in tire wrestling this time. And, you know, we're drawing people in and opening up their minds. And, you know, my inbox is full of all those black belts that told me that's not jiu-jitsu, man. You know, that's crazy. Now they're all like, I want to bring my team down. Can you book some of my guys? And so, except the one guy, you know who you are, man. But I'll get you. I will get you. Yeah. But, you know, CarJitsu is the future. I was at the UFC Apex when we were filming a slapping reality show. And I showed Gordon Ryan some early episodes of CarJitsu on my phone. Also, Jake Shields. And they both watched it and they both just looked at me like, that's crazy. That's the future, you know. And I can't remember exactly what they said. But at a certain point, I asked them if I could quote them, and they were like, no. So I'll just stop talking about that. But when you see two of your jiu-jitsu heroes and you're like, hey, look at this little thing I'm hoping does well. that really put the wind in my sails, and that made it possible for me to really believe in this thing. And then, PLN is just, masterfully marketed it to the masses, and it's starting to become an option for a lot of competitors. A lot of competitors.
And also, it's a lot of fun. So if you don't mind, if I ask Larry a question here, like
Yeah.
what excites you about all the things that PLN? Because I'm assuming you want to take part in everything, right? But what excites you about all these different events in terms of as an athlete?
I just love competing. And this is like I get a lot of opportunities to compete. So that's the main thing that excites me. And I love the camaraderie. Everybody, it's like a brotherhood here. It's like a family, and I love it.
There you go, man. Like, and I guess question for both of you guys: is there any like hesitancy, I guess, from athletes or from you? It's like, do I really want to get in there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like in terms of either injury or even like your image. Some athletes take that way too seriously.
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's hard for people, man. I mean, you train, imagine your teammates, how many of them would truly be down to get in here and strap in.
Right.
When talking about it, after practice or whatever, everybody's kind of down, but it's daunting, man. It's daunting. Once you see an opponent and it's not a big open mat, so once you see your opponent and you introduce all these weapons, essentially, it's daunting. So a lot of guys will show up, or not anymore because we have a roster now, but when we were testing it and just kind of getting it off the ground, you'd have a lot of guys would show up and then decide maybe this isn't for me, but it's different. Things are different now, Eddie. Things are so much different than just like 5 years ago. I'm sure you know this too. After the pandemic, people just aren't so interested in going out and watching regional MMA.
Yeah.
They want to watch internet-based sports, and we're the only company in the world who has a development program for niche sports, So we're so far ahead of everyone right now with all these leagues that we're able to kind of craft the market to kind of bend in our favor. And so I love MMA. I watch MMA still, but I certainly don't go sit in a parking lot of some bar somewhere and watch unknown fighters. I would if they were fighting to get out of a car or doing something crazy, but I'm gonna stick with the major brands for MMA now.
There you go. And Larry, what's it like to be one of the pioneering athletes for this whole thing? Because it's about to be massive. You're one of the faces of it.
I'm extremely grateful. I'm glad that I got to be in here and competing. It was just really good timing. I'm very grateful.
There you go, man. Honestly, I'm excited just getting the ideas right as we were setting this up and everything.
Yeah.
I was just like chop, like the chopping thing, dude. Like that's a Ric Flair thing, right? From way back in the day, WWE guys, we all know
the
Ric
chopping
Flair.
thing is way more entertaining than you might think because
I believe it.
Signed slap fighters who, those are tough guys, right? They don't train; they're tough. That's what they have to offer. And then a bunch of pro wrestlers, right? And so one of the things I built into the chest chop sport is you get points for damage, staying within the rules, and then showmanship. So showmanship can win the match for you, even if you didn't have the best fight, right? And it's a hilarious sport. You'll have to see. I think it's week 5 of the series is chest chop. I'm pretty sure June 27th.
June 27th is Coffin Wars, chest chop July 11th.
July 11th. Okay, July 11th. Chest chop. We don't know who the athletes are yet, but the star of the show is the audience. Chest chop. We encourage them to throw trash at the bad guys. They boo and they chant nasty words and they get scolded by our officials. And it's chest chop is great, but it's weird because it's professional wrestlers. But these guys are damaging each other. It gets nasty, bro. Their abdomens and their chests just get black and blue, and it's rough. We went to Coachella, man. We went to Coachella and we did a chest chop testing there with T-Pain. T-Pain, we realized after you test something and you film it a few times and you get kind of used to it, all the newness wears off. And then when you introduce it to people, you forget how radical it is, right? And so we introduced it to T-Pain, and it was pretty eye-opening for us that we had created another crazy spectacle that people are going to follow just to see what happens next. That's the marquee sports for this thing: CarJitsu, chest chop, slap fight, and then of course you got all the other stuff that can pop up at any moment, and it will. And I'm looking forward to seeing what America thinks about it.
Yeah, so like talking about the entertainment aspect of it, you already have Mayhem Miller coming, all these influencers, Mark Coleman. Are there any, especially for that 2 hour? I don't want you to give away anything you don't want to give away, but do you have any like big surprises for the 2 hour finale in August 15th?
To be honest with you, it kind of comes down to how the leaderboard looks as we get through the season. We have these 9 weeks where all teams have an opportunity. They get 5 points for a knockout or a submission. They get 2.5 points for a decision. They get no points for a loss. And so as they all compete and kick in, they each have competitors on the team. They'll all make appearances throughout the run. And then once we get to the end, we don't know if it's going to be a blowout or if it's going to be close. In my mind, I think it's going to be a gauntlet of all PLN sports. But if it's a blowout, well, then hell, we might just take that team and let them all compete against each other and pick the toughest guy, But stay tuned to see what we come up with. Right now, we're just trying to fit all these crazy personalities together and keep it clean,
I hear you, man. And with all these personalities, all these athletes, the ideas of the events alone, you have a gold mine of like possibilities in this thing. And honestly, it's exciting just to learn about and everything. So, like I said, 10 weeks. So June 13th, this Friday, CarJitsu. June 20th, Slap Fight Championship. June 27th, Coffin Wars. That's one I'm curious about. How did anybody come up with, like, I can only assume it was 2 guys sitting back, not taking back a few, like, hey bro, how would you get out of a coffin you got in a fight? Like, that's all I can think of.
Man. Well, it's me that comes up with all this stuff, so it's not beer.
Okay.
I can say it's not beer. It might be something else, but it's not beer.
All good.
No, I can tell you, Coffin Wars came about. My partner said, hey, we're going to have a call with Kai Cenat. He's the biggest streamer in the world. And he wants to have us over and do some stuff. And I guess he wanted to do one of our PLN sort of functioning popular sports. And then he wanted to do one that was in development. And then he wanted us to just completely create one on the call, just kind of make it up on the call. So Coffin Wars was like a faint idea I had like a few days before. And I just kind of bullshit my way through it. And we ended up doing it. And it, obviously the first appearance of Coffin Wars was not its greatest, but we had a lot of people interested in it. So I've retooled it a little bit. And what you're going to see is I'll be joined by Mayhem Miller again. And Coffin Wars is unlike any other PLN sport because it's theatrical.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Jason's going to have a kick of that.
The competitors are almost like set pieces and actors at Coffin Wars. But at the end of the day, that drill where you're on your back and I'm in side control and you got to try to stand up.
Yeah.
Put that in a 10-foot coffin that's 4 feet wide. So you can't really get in side control. You have to kind of start in like half guard.
Yeah, like half. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't lock your hands.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
Okay. And you can't post on the coffin. You have to wrestle out, man. It's crazy. I mean, you've done it before. It's tough, huh?
Yeah, it's tough.
It's difficult. And then, we have D1 wrestlers and jiu-jitsu black and brown belts. And what's funny is watching them have to adapt on the fly.
Yeah.
They have no idea what to do till it starts. And so it's a kind of a cool dynamic. If you're a real martial artist or a real fighter, somebody that trains, it's fascinating to watch these fights because you get to see the thought process of the athlete. But if you're just a guy that's bored with traditional sports, it's fascinating too, because I mean, think about how hard it would be to just stick one of your teammates in the hole of a tire. Have you seen the tires?
I've not seen the tires.
Look, man, let me show you, man. You see over here?
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah.
So it's about waist high, right?
Yeah.
Did I get that in the frame?
Yeah, you got it.
It's about waist high, right? So we're in over under when we start. We're pummeling, but we got to touch the tire at all times, and I got to elevate you and get 51% of your body inside the hole. That's called a dunk.
Yeah.
And if I can't do that, which it's extremely difficult to elevate a dude, that's equally yoked. But if you can't get him in the hole, you can win the match by having more control time, which just means pick him up. But it's the most exhausting sport that we have on the roster right now. And people come in and they take it lightly and it eats them up, man. It's a cardio monster, man.
It definitely sounds like it. So that's June 27th. The tire.
That's July 4th.
July 4th. Thank you. Yeah.
July 4th weekend.
Yeah. Red, white, blue ass open to somebody in the tire. That'd be
man, you ain't shitting, man. It's gonna be rough. going in the tire is not only humiliating, but it's also kind of hard to get back out, So you got that moment on TV too.
You're gonna bring back someone's trauma from high school when they got dunked into a trash can as a kid,
I
bro.
heard that before from somebody, man. Actually, I just got a call from Tim Sylvia, former UFC world champion. He just hit me up like within the last month and said, please get me a tire wrestling match with somebody. So I called my boy David Grayson. He's a 300-pound judo world champion like multiple times, and he accepted. And so now I just have to find tires.
Yeah,
because that's 700 pounds of man meat, brother.
Yeah,
that ain't going in those little semi tires.
You need those big old BKT like monster truck tires for that.
I do, bro.
I'm telling you.
I don't know if the studio's big enough for that match. We have to go outside, bro.
There you go. So that's July 4th, and then July 11th, chest chop. July 18th, back to slap fight. July 25th, CarJitsu. August 1st, chest chop, and then August 8th, slap fight. All culminating in a 2-hour finale on August 15th. How tired do you think you're gonna be by the time we get to that night?
Brother, I'm so we've had some other projects we've been doing here at the studio for ESPN and stuff, and so in the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we've already done 6 shows, and we're about to do 10 in a row. So we're gonna be tired. But I mean, don't you? How many days a week you go to the gym, Eddie?
Every day.
Are you tired?
Nope.
Still go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is so much, man. Just imagine if your job involved doing this, man.
Oh.
I come here every day. I come here on my days off.
You live the dream, my guy. You live the dream, dude.
Oh, I'm so lucky, man. It feels so good, and to have people care, because I was doing this when 20 people were in the room, and then when I was doing MMA shows, I was in parking lots for 300-400 people, and when we merged with LFA, we had 20,000 people. I mean, now it's it's millions of people that they're not watching for me, but they get to see my thumbprint, and that's the thing that's fun. Plus, all my childhood heroes are my best friends now, and that's fun too,
That's a big old plus on that, man.
Yeah,
all right,
cool.
folks. Yeah, folks, there you have it. Do not miss it. Friday, June 13th, the series kicks off with CarJitsu with our man JT Tilley, Mayhem Miller on location. Stephen Minsky, Laura Davis is the random matchup this week. I believe you announced that on Instagram just a couple days ago. And then 9 more weeks of PLN action with many different sports, completely different sports. This is not traditional martial arts, ladies and gentlemen. Catch it all live on PLN's YouTube channel as well as Stadium, Fast, and OTT. Ladies and gentlemen, JT Tilley, the mastermind behind it all, and my boy Larry. Best of luck to both of you guys, and thanks for the time.
Appreciate you, man. You have a good time. See you.
Appreciate you.